All right. Hello. I am just going to double check, make sure that we are live in here and it's all connected. I think we are good. All right.
Yay!
Isn't it always like that awkward moment of like, are we live?
Are we live?
Are we not live?
100%. Yes.
Oh my gosh. Amazing. Okay, well, hello everybody. I'm really excited about having this coffee chat. It's been a while since I've done one of these. But y'all know that when it comes time for Summit, I get the opportunity to connect with so many amazing women, and I like to have them on just so we can get to know them a little bit better. And today I am chatting with Randi, who is the founder of Faithful Living Real Estate. She is the host of Saved and Safe podcast and one of the amazing women that is behind the Moms in Real Estate community. So, Randi, I would love it if you could just take some time, introduce yourself, let us know all the things we need to know about you.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, my elevator pitch, right? No, so I'm a mom, obviously, and I built, my business with babies on my hips. And now I'm actually in a new season of getting to be a grandma and business partners with my daughter, who actually has my 3 grandbabies and my 4th one on the way. So fun fact, we live on a family compound. And so my kids were turning like 16, 18, something like, and I went and like double sized our house. And people were like, what are you doing? Your kids are moving out. Aren't you supposed to be downsizing? And I was like, no, I'm keeping them home. So we bought a very large house that has, it's a very unique floor plan, but has everybody's different sections and different living. And so we have a micro farm, and we have goats, and we have chickens. And I have a dream to be a rancher, Tara. And fun fact that Jordy will tell you is I am researching and developing an entire plan to be a rancher, like down to like how often we'll do rotating, we'll rotate them and do the grazing and all the things. But I'm also scared to touch cows. Like terrified. We were showing a property because so I've niched down in my career. I've been an agent. I have a joke, but it's also the absolute truth that I like to sell $20 million a year in real estate in my PJ pants and braless. So that's like a personal success thing of mine that I only put on a bra once or twice a week. But honestly, Tara, all kidding aside, like I am just so thankful to get to be somebody in this industry that shows women that you can build highly profitable, highly life-giving businesses, and that you can build on your terms. And I always say, like, I am here for the mom that just wants to make like that one Disneyland trip happen. That's great. That's fine. But I want to expose you to everything that real estate can actually do for your life and how it can change the course of your family's future and financial legacy. And then whatever you choose is fine. But like showing women rooms that they didn't know existed is my jam.
I love this. So first of all, there is so much here that I did not know about you. Obsessed with the idea of this little micro farm. I need you to have one of those cute little Highland cows.
Oh, it's already on the list. It's already on the list.
I will be there in a flash.
I can touch the Highlanders. It's the big ones with the huge tongues that I'm like.
That's incredible. So I think it is so fascinating. Like, here's the thing that I love about what you just said, because I think, and I've said this all week, and I don't know if this is just like the messaging that I've been getting lately. You know what I think it is? Okay, let me back up. I think that we have kind of had a season of all of these TV shows that have been coming out, all these reality shows that have been coming out that really glamorize our industry and paint a picture that is just not at all what it once was and isn't really realistic or attainable. And I think that it makes a lot of us fall into this weird comparison trap of like, I am not out here in my, gazillion dollar clothes, like, showing these crazy fancy houses and having cameras follow us around and, and so with that, I think that we immediately like start to squash ourselves a little bit and be like, oh, well, I can't be successful in that way. And the cool thing about like what you just said was that like you can literally have your business serve your lifestyle.
Yeah.
You can create a business that you love and it can look however you want it to look. to look.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. And I think also like that what goes with that also is that we are an industry that doesn't have, most careers and most industries, they have like a clear success pattern and a success ladder. And like what the next step is. And ours doesn't. And I mean, even myself, like I remember when I made it to the big boys table and I got to sit around the table with the big dogs, that they had these huge teams. And it was like, all of a sudden I started thinking that what they were doing was my next level of success. And I think that's another problem in this industry, is that we think that, and the industry itself awards on vanity metrics, right? I'm not saying there is definitely, notoriety that needs to go to somebody that has $1 million GCI, but there also needs to be clarity around, like, you may have $1 million GCI with $100,000 net, and I may have a $200,000 GCI with $150,000 net who has a healthier business, right? But our industry doesn't talk about like the net. It doesn't talk about the life. It doesn't talk about those things. And so we get caught up in like, what do people look like and what are they getting awarded on? And then all of a sudden us as women, like we do start to feel less than. Like, I'm going to be really honest and transparent with you. And it's funny because I don't lack confidence. And so I don't mean that, I hope nobody thinks like I'm egotistical, but like I've never felt not pretty. Like I definitely am like, thank you, God. Like I feel very, like I've always felt like a beautiful woman. I don't have confidence issues, but I am a bigger girl. I do struggle with weight. And then, I'm not a fancy girl. Like I'm very comfortable. Nothing is better than being comfortable. I want to be comfortable in everything I do. So I'll show up comfortable and I'm short. Okay. So spoiler alert, everybody, when you meet me, I'm short. Okay. But so then I'll show up in a room and I'm 5 feet tall, which compacts me and makes my weight a little bit, more. And then I'm in like basic clothes. And then there's like the beauty. And again, to each his own. It's not right. It's not wrong. It's just different. But then there's the powerhouses that are, and maybe they're not even powerhouses. They could be like 6 weeks into the industry and never sold a house, but they're in like a power suit with heels. And all of a sudden it has a way of like shrinking us and making us feel, or we show up to the boys' room and they're however they are and we don't feel there, and it shrinks us. And I just got so tired of being shrunk. And I was like, I'm not going to do this. And, I don't know, I think you know this, but I'm actually I host a monthly meetup called Buns Up, Bras Off. And I'm launching a podcast to go with that, because I was like, I'm going to create the space for the frumpy powerhouses. Like, we're the comfy girls that are crushing it. That's who we are. So yeah, I love that.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I'm all about my PJs too. Like, full disclosure, during the summit, I look like I am together, but I have slippers and my PJ pants on all week long. I am all about that. And I think that your story is parallel with my story as well. And I think, again, that resonates with so many women in the industry of like, we get told, I remember when I started and I was put into this space with the powerhouses, and I'm going to say that in quotes just because I'm not saying that they're not powerhouses, but I'm not saying that all of them were.
Right,
but
right.
The powerhouses, the boys' room, all the things, and told I needed to watch them and I needed to hope that they would notice me. So my job for the first couple of months was literally to go and sit in a common area with my laptop and hope that one of these people on the headpieces would walk by and notice me enough that they would give me some sort of opportunity.
Wow.
And what really flipped for me was when I had a man come up to another man that was sitting beside me in this common area. And he asked this man, hey, do you want to do this open house? Right. And the man was basically like, oh, nah, I got stuff going on. He was too good for the open house. Right. And there I am, like, I am waiting for this opportunity. Like I'm like ready. And in my head, I'm calculating time. He said it was that afternoon. He said that, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, okay, do I have time to run and go get my stuff? Cause I had a whole kit, I had like a whole thing. And I was like, I'm like the open house girl, like you open my trunk and like balloons are coming out. Right. So I turn around and I'm like hoping he asked me, and he goes, what about you? And just kind of like shrugs me off. And I was like, where is it? Thinking again, do I have time to run home and get my little open house kit? And he turns to me and he says, you should be thanking me that I even gave you an opportunity. You should be on
Mm,
your knees thanking me that I gave you an opportunity. And at that moment, I felt just like you said, this small. And
right.
it was like, why do I feel this way? And I really had to go back and do a lot of reflection of like, how is this the kind of vibe and industry that
Mm,
I want to be in? And I
right.
think that in our similarities of like, no, that's not what we wanted. That isn't how we wanted to build our businesses. So I love the fact that you really have just, again, like whether it be in your PJs or in a power suit, you've created a space where women can come and be who they are to build
Right.
something still very massive, even if you want to hang out in your slippers.
Yeah. Well, you know what's funny is I've learned it. I didn't do this in the beginning, but I've learned to like, find out, read the data, make my decisions based off of the data. And sometimes we overcomplicate what the data is. Sometimes we think it has to be like this robust spreadsheet. Sometimes it's just asking the question. And one of the things I did early on in my career was start asking my clients, like, why me? Why did you choose me? And I'll never forget one year I had landed like a big client, right? The family owned a local hotel, and I think it was the son or the daughter, I don't remember, but they were going to buy their first house with like their fiance. And I was smart enough, early on, and this is probably the early 2000s, I was smart enough to know like this could lead to a lot of other opportunities. So I was like trying to take good care of them. And I remember asking them at the end of the deal, like, okay, why, what made you choose me? And she was like, do you remember that snow day you showed us houses? And I was like, yes, like, of course, because everything went wrong. Like everything went wrong. I slipped in the driveway. I couldn't get the door open. It was like all the things went wrong. She was like, that day, I realized you were real. I realized you were like me. You were just an average person. And I was like, wait, what? And it was funny because like at that point I embraced the fact that like, yeah, you can follow me to the listing, but we're even though I'm a native nomad, you're probably going to have some U-turns because I'm really bad at navigation. I'm probably not going to be able to get the door open. And I just really started to be okay with the fact that I was really, really good at some things and not other things, and embrace those. And it allowed me to build a business where the people that I work with value what are my strong suits, and they don't devalue me based off of what's not my strong suit. And it's funny because people are like, well, what are you gonna do when you get $1 million listing? And I'm like, selling my flip-flops. Like what else would I do? Like, I mean, I might put closed-toe shoes on. If I gotta wear my boots, I'll wear my boots, but like I'm not gonna change who I am. But I also think one thing too, and you tell me if you agree, and this is what I've loved and been one of the biggest honors about creating spaces that empower and educate women, is that I watch the confidence grow. And once you get the confidence, it's like you don't worry anymore. You don't worry because you have the confidence. 9 out of 10 times when I see a woman that is struggling in real estate, it's tied to confidence. Either they don't have the industry knowledge, they don't have the market knowledge, they don't have the preparation for the appointment, they just don't have it. But once you get it, something amazing happens where it's like, I'll never forget, and it was a man who said this. So we were at like a title company for like CE credits or something, and these two guys were like fighting, and I think they were like arguing over short sales or something. I don't even remember. This was so many years ago. But what I do remember is they were going back and forth and back and forth. And Ray, he's still in our market. I'll never forget. He just ended it by saying, "Just go look at my numbers," which was a little egotistical. But he was like, "I'm not going to keep arguing with you. Pull my numbers." And while I never want to be the person that's like, "Pull my numbers," that's not my MO. What I realized was he was fully confident because he knew he had the proven track record and he had the confidence. And that was something where I was like, that's why you do the work, and that's why you pour into yourself. And the biggest investment you make is yourself, so that you have that level of confidence. Again, I would not be the person who would say, pull my numbers, but knowing I could say, pull my numbers, and my numbers would support that I know what I'm doing and that people trust me in my flip-flops or in my pajama pants. Recently, I even posted where I was like, I mean, yes, I'll totally show you that house. Although I was super excited about cozy vibes. And she was like, so come in your pajamas. I'll come in mine too. So nothing's better than when the other agent shows, and there's like multiple showings at once, and they're like, well, where's the realtor? That number one question I get from other agents when I run into them in showings is like, well, where's the realtor? And I'm always like, it's me, I'm here. But yeah, I don't know, would you agree about the confidence?
100%. And one of the things that I always like to tell people is if you are comparing yourself to agents based on what they are saying or how they are, being perceived on the internet, you're doing yourself a disservice, because after seeing so many, and you obviously work hand in hand with agents too. I am very fortunate to work with so many different women that are just starting out and women that have been in the business for a while. And I have seen the back ends of over 5,000 businesses. And what I can tell you is the ones that, people are coming to me and be like, I want to be like so-and-so. No, you don't. No, you don't. No, you
Yep.
don't.
You know what that makes me think of? Early on in my career, I learned, like, when you're at the open house and, the brand new Mercedes rolls up, that's not actually who you want. You actually want the guy in the Volvo or whatever,
Yeah,
like the
really
19, the super old one, not the new one, but you know what I mean? You want the guy in the clunker or whatever. And obviously there's going to be variables, but the lesson that the person was explaining to me is, like, don't just assume that the person has the best car or has the best purchase power, right? There's a very good chance that the person in the beater has better purchase power. And that is so true. Another thing, would you find that you see this a lot? Is I'll have agents that'll say, like, oh, I just want to produce like so-and-so, or I just want to sell houses like so-and-so. And my second question is always, and do you want their life?
Yeah.
Like, do you want their life? Like, would you trade? Do you just want to trade businesses? Because there's nothing you can't work for and build in a business. So you can build whatever business you want. But if you just, and it's never going to happen, it's not like it's possible. But if you just want to snap your fingers and trade with somebody, make sure you want to trade the whole kit and caboodle. Make sure you want their home life, you want their faith, you want their morals, you want all of it, right? Otherwise, you shouldn't be looking at that person to replicate what they're doing.
Yeah, 100%. And I think one of the things too that we both really see eye to eye on is we both value the ability to have freedom in our business. Like, that's something that's really important, I think, to both of us. And I know that it lights me up, and I can see already it's lighting you up.
Lights me up.
Just the idea of, I think that most of us start our business because we want to have freedom. We want to have space. We want to be able to raise our kids. We want to be able to take care of our spouses. We want to be able to go on vacations. We want to be able to do things on our own terms. But again, when we enter into this industry, we are immediately sat down in the common room and said, you need to watch all of these people that are hustling and hope that you get the opportunity to hustle too. And so I think it's really interesting how I think most of us, the majority of us, go into having our own business in real estate with one idea, but immediately are entered in and get sold this whole other idea.
Yeah. 100%. Well, and thanks to you in creating this amazing women's summit, I actually get to talk about that, right? I get to talk about how you build a calendar that supports a life you love. And I think most of us look at a calendar and, we all know if it's not on the calendar, it doesn't exist. If it's not on the calendar, it doesn't happen. And we talk a lot about calendar. And I start off in my presentation saying, like, this is not about what should be on your calendar, right? That's not what it is. It's about leveraging the calendar to support a life that you love. And I think that is one of the most powerful things. And make no mistake, like, there's always the joke, like, oh, you got into real estate and you thought you were going to have, a part-time, or you're going to have, listen, I have a full-time income on a part-time effort. I absolutely do. It's one of those things that you have to layer on. And one of the things I talk about is I do not believe in balance. Like, I think balance is the biggest line that anybody's ever been sold, but intentional imbalance is a freaking game changer. When you can run your life knowing, okay, I'm going to be work heavy here. Okay, I'm going to be family heavy here. And you can set expectations around that. It is such a different game changer. And I've been really fortunate, this last year, between the market and really my behavior. I'm going to just be completely honest. I was transitioning companies, and I had shiny object syndrome. I was so excited for my rebrand and all the things that I did, which was amazing. But I didn't keep my foot down and I didn't keep my focus. And so my production dropped to just under 10 million in volume. And I share that just for context, but the reason I share that is because other than this last year, I do personally average $15 to $20 million in volume, and I spend no more than about 20 hours a week in my real estate business. So the idea and the notion that you can't do it isn't true. And I've also scaled to the point where I was like very hands off, and that didn't work for me. Like I was like, I got to bring it back. I need to get more hands on. And so there is leverage, but you're 100% right. Like we can have it all, but it's also about surrounding ourselves with the right mindsets, like you said, and making sure we're not in the room where we're being sat down and told, like, don't think that you just went into an easy schedule. Like there's always that person that's like, oh, how cute. You thought you weren't going to work weekends. And again, there's seasons of sacrifice. So of course I've worked weekends, but now I take over 100 days off a year. I don't work weekends. Sometimes I work in the evening because I choose to, not because I have to. And so I love that we get to be disruptors and say like, no, you could build a whole nother way. And you are like bringing 40 freaking women to like be testaments to that together, right?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Let's talk about this. So if you don't know, at the end of February 24th through the 28th is the Women in Real Estate Summit. And this whole conversation was the reason why the Women in Real Estate Summit exists. So it's kind of kismet. We didn't have a plan when we hopped on here. We were just like, we're just going to chit chat and see what happens. But this is literally the whole reason why the summit exists, because we understand that there are different seasons of business. There are different needs for different people when it comes to your business. So what we've done is I bring together some of the literal most amazing humans. Like when I tell you, my heart like gets like so big thinking about how amazing these women are.
It's just growing. Your heart is just growing. And you're like,
oh my God, it's so amazing. Like I get like, what is it that they say? Displacement feelings or whatever. When you get so excited, yes. You don't know what to do. That's how I feel. Is
that a thing? Wait, there's a name for that? Because I just thought I'm the weirdo that's in the bathroom stall, like excited, like all the time. I'm like, and so I didn't know if I had like Tourette's. I had no idea what my problem was. 5 times a day, I'm like, yes.
Well, and funny enough, so the whole reason that I looked this up, right? Because obviously I get like that. I get so excited. But my dogs, they get so excited when we come home. They don't know what to do with themselves. So they run and go get a toy. They just like go and do something and bring it to us just because they're excited. And so I was like, why do my dogs do this? And that's how I went down this whole rabbit hole of like displacement feelings, where we are so excited about something that we have like this other behavior that happens.
I'm gonna totally look this up after this call.
So anyway, all of that to say, these women are incredible. They are top producers. They are experts in their field. They are smart. They are supportive, and they are coming together to really help you, the real estate agent. And so Randi obviously is one of our amazing speakers. Is this the second year you've done it, or third? This is the third year.
I did it with my previous company. And so that was like 5 years ago, I think that
was the very first summit, because we're celebrating our 5 years. Yeah.
So I know, I was like, I hope Sarah keeps me around. Although there's so many amazing women out there. I understand that it's going to be hard to keep making the cut.
It's amazing. It is such an incredible week. And during that week, we basically just pour into you and your businesses. So it gives you the opportunity to really just, you said it perfectly the other day when we were on your live, like have a library of different strategies and, systems and ideas to plug into your business. So, go to the womeninrealestate.com. I am going to link to that in the chat, and I'll pin that comment up at the top so you can grab your free ticket, but it's going to be incredible. And as Randi said, you're talking all about building a calendar, a freedom focused calendar, and basically everything that we've been talking about, how you can actually get started with all of that.
Yes, I even dorked out at one point when I realized I could pause the presentation. I was like, hold on, let me get another piece of data. And I dorked out because this year was the first time after I've been doing this every year where I do the only thing, I run a 12-week year. The only thing I do on an annual basis is my calendar. All my days off, I try to get as many, I try to leverage as many holidays as I can and turn them into 4-day weekends. Starting tomorrow, I'm off for 4 days for President's Day. People are like, you take President's Day off? I'm like, I sure do. Title company's closed, I'm closed. But the one thing that was really funny is I've started making goals around reducing my hours. And so I want to challenge you out there if you're an agent and right now maybe you are in build mode and so they have to be higher, or maybe you're in burnout mode because you know built such an amazing business. Challenge yourself to have a plan. So I have a plan that goes through 2029 to how I'm bringing my hours down, my days off up. And like I always say, like I might be showing houses at 70, but it's going to be because I want to, not because I have to. And one of the things that we have to start doing is really being strategic in our business. Where can we raise our price points? Where can we increase, our bottom line and decrease our time? And so I'm just excited to kind of be on that journey. Part-time agent, full-time income has been a passion for me, and I'm excited to continue it.
I love that. Okay, so before we head off, will you, if somebody is not able to make the summit and they need to have one takeaway from you, what is that takeaway going to be?
Schedule your family first, and your family is 100%. You should treat your family appointments exactly like you would treat your client appointments. Don't ever feel guilty for saying, I'm sorry, I'm actually already booked at 3:00, but I can make this time work. And if that 3:00 is your son's basketball game, you are booked. Don't feel guilty for that. Don't let anybody make you feel guilty. And don't think that those appointments that you're like cheating. I hear a lot of moms and women and they're like, well, it's not really an appointment. Yes, it is. It is. Your family is the most important, and you don't ever want to regret that. And so family first, and that's what I dive into is like start with your family and you build and make sure they're penciled in. That's the top priority.
I love that. Okay, and how can everybody connect with you?
So Instagram is great, Rise with Randi, but also I do have a community. In fact, I was joking and I was telling Tara, so I have moms in real estate. I get to build, and we have an entire community alongside my amazing partner, Kristen Cantrell, who thought our group's acronym was MIR. And I was like, no, we're Meyer. And she's like, no, we're MIR. And we had this whole debate. And crazy enough, she had like hundreds of people who agreed with her. And I'm like, it is not accurate. And then one day we were talking about Tara's amazing group, Women in Real Estate. And I was like, Wire. And they were like, yeah, Wire. And I was like, oh, so she's Wire? Because if she's Wire, we're definitely Meyer. So you can definitely find me inside of Meyer. And on the top of our cover photo is everywhere that, we create spaces for women.
I love that. And I also just want to mention that Randi and Kristen, who is also in the summit, by the way, I want to point that out too. She is in the summit, but you guys have weekly trainings. You do all kinds of events in there. It is incredible. It is such a great community. I know a lot of you watching obviously enjoy our community because of its supportive atmosphere. This is the same. So definitely go check that out as well.
And I think the future just might bring these communities even closer. So stay tuned.
I see something happen.
Just a little teaser. By the way, can we just finish on the note that it is a snowstorm and a blizzard? And, we all know the hack to like sit with natural light. Side note, you probably shouldn't do that when it's all white out, because the whole time I'm like, why am I so pasty? I look sickly, but I realize it's a blizzard. Every roof is covered. The mountains are covered. So just snow coming back in at me. So
I love that. Well, I think you look beautiful and glowy.
Thank you. I always think that whenever I see your stuff, I'm like, Tara's just like that beautiful, like redhead, all your stuff. I'm just always in awe. You look so good. So
thank you. Oh my gosh. All right, ladies. Well, that's it for now. We hope to see you February 24th. Grab your free ticket at thewomeninrealestate.com and we will chat with you guys later.
Bye guys. Yay.